Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making an impact and powering the good in our community and around the globe. Have you ever wanted to travel in a private jet or looked out your window on the road from Memphis to Nashville like I have, envisioning a way for you could sit back, relax without having to drive? Today, we have Alex Danza, the founder and CEO of Vonlane, a Texas-based premium travel company offering luxury motor coach services between major cities. Alex is here to discuss with us the inception of Vonlane, its expansion into the Nashville and Memphis markets, and the exceptional first-class experience passengers can expect on board. So let's dive in and learn more about this game-changing travel option. Alex, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Of course. Now tell us about the story behind Vonlane's creation and how your background in ground transportation really helped shape the company.
I started Vonlane 10 years ago. We're coming up in the next year. We'll hit our 10-year anniversary of trips, 20 million miles driven across the state of Texas. It's been a fantastic journey. And Vonlane was started because I spent 10 years prior to this business building another ground transportation business. And I had some dealings with the motor coach industry while I was building that business. And the idea just came to me that somebody could offer something better than what was currently being offered in what I'll call the bus world. We use the term motor coach. We don't feel that we operate buses. We operate high-end motor coaches. And so when I looked around the state of Texas specifically, we have all these wonderful cities: Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, major population centers. They're 200 to 250 miles apart. And most Texans 10 years ago were flipping a coin. Do I fly Southwest Airlines or do I drive myself? Neither was a great option. Southwest was going through an expansion where their focus became more long distance travel. Think Dallas to New York, Dallas to San Francisco. That's really where they wanted to focus. And so Texas travelers were seeing a little dip in service. The airport was a very stressful place to be post 9/11, as you can imagine. And so a lot of folks were driving themselves up and down our highways between these cities, and that's exhausting. To try and do a day trip to get from Dallas to Houston, for example, you're looking at 9 hours of driving in one day. I had a friend tell me on his way home after doing a day trip to Houston, he had to pull over because he was falling asleep. And so the idea came to me, why can't there be a third option for Texans that would really attract business travelers and high-end luxury leisure travelers to get them aboard one of these buses? And so the only way to do that would be to make the interior of this motor coach just fantastic, to have it be akin to a first-class cabin or a private jet. And so that's what we set out to do, is to build basically an airline on the ground with first-class seating throughout and first-class private jet level amenities and service during the transit trip. And so we started with 200 miles between Dallas and Austin, and we quickly added all the other cities in Texas and have been building the business there in Texas now for 10 years. And then in November of 2022, we started in Nashville and we connected to Atlanta. And that's been a great hit, mainly because people do not want to fly in or out of Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, the busiest airport in the world.
Yes.
And so again, we give people an option other than driving themselves, that 4-hour drive between Atlanta and Nashville, which is a rigorous drive on the individual. We give them a first-class luxury seat. They can sit back and relax. And once we kind of planted our flag in the ground in Nashville, we looked and said, well, Tennesseans can't fly between their two major cities. There's no direct flight between Nashville and Memphis. So everybody's doing that drive. Let's connect Nashville to Memphis. And on May 26th, we started Nashville-Memphis service. And that's where we are today.
You feel like you're on a private jet. It's hard to believe that you'd be driving from point A to point B. And I love that it's this 200, 300-mile radius where sure, you could drive yourself, but to be more efficient, to be a business traveler, even a luxury leisure travel, knowing that you're going to a weekend trip or a business trip for a week, being able to sit back and relax, work, have those luxuries and be able to not have to stop. You know, you're getting to places on time. You have someone dedicated to safety and understanding the roads, so you don't have to worry about that. Talk about what I think is really unique is the partnerships between the hotels that you really sort of like are your anchor points from point A to point B. Talk about like how that works and
Yeah.
some of the amenities that you would expect on a Vonlane trip.
Our goal is to make travel easy and stress-free. And so one of the great things about a motor coach is we don't require a multi-billion-dollar airport as a terminal, right? So Atlanta is a great example. Airport way south of downtown. You've got to fight traffic to get to downtown. If you want to go to North Atlanta, Buckhead area, you've got a major drive ahead of yourself. Most cities, that's the issue you've got. Our terminals are all centrally located right in downtown for the most part. In Nashville, we partner with the Omni in downtown Nashville. It's across the street from the convention center. It's next door to the Country Music Hall of Fame. You can see where the Predators play right down the street. You can walk to Broadway. So incredible areas that we partner with. In Memphis, we partner with the Hilton Memphis East. So right on 240 and Poplar, right there, great location, proximity to everything you possibly need. Get off the coach, go about and do your business in Memphis. The hotels are wonderful areas for our passengers to wait before they board. So you're not waiting outside, you're not at a bus terminal, you're at a luxurious, very nice hotel lobby with amenities like coffee shops and bars and restaurants that you can utilize. So I think it really starts very well there, our process with the terminal partners that we work with. And then when you board, we board 15 minutes before departure. So our power travelers here in Texas, I see them all the time. They've gotten so good at using Uber, Lyft, whatever they may like. They arrive 10 minutes before departure. The car drops them off at our door. They board, they're in their seat with their laptop open, and they're working. If they're a leisure traveler, they're watching Netflix right away. We have high-speed complimentary Wi-Fi. The attendant welcomes you aboard, hangs your coat up in the closet. So if it's winter, you're not shoving a coat in an overhead or under your seat like you would on an airplane, and you arrive and it's all wrinkled. I mean, this is very high-end first-class travel. There's water waiting for you. The attendant will give you a menu that lists out all our amenities, from an eye mask to a neck pillow to a blanket to a charger if you forgot a charger. We even have a shoe shine kit if you forgot to shine your shoes, toothbrush and toothpaste if you forgot to brush your teeth or wanted to freshen up before arrival. We have it all aboard the motor coach. And so throughout the trip, your attendant is coming and bringing snack baskets full of chips and cookies and chocolate and granola bars and you name it under the sun. We really kind of have it aboard the coach for you. And that's all complimentary as part of your travel. The same with beverages. And then if it's a trip that crosses over a mealtime, the attendant will take a meal order. So it'll be a sandwich, a wrap, a salad that you get to choose. In the morning, it would be a muffin and yogurt, that type of thing. And so it's a very first-class experience, stress-free. You talked about the seating. Normally, a 45-foot motor coach like we use has 56 very small, narrow seats with no legroom. We take that all the way down to 22 seats. So you can imagine the amount of room that opens up. 22 big, oversized seats, almost full recline, a leg rest that goes up. So a lot of people just get in a really good nap because it's very peaceful. Or you have a table and you can work if you're a business traveler. So the seats are amazing. They're extremely comfortable, probably one of our highest rated aspects of the service. And then the thing that people really love is the bathroom. Believe it or not, we put in a very large, full restroom. It's not your typical commercial aircraft small restroom or bus restroom. It's a really very high-end bathroom with clean that people really appreciate. So there's lots of different aspects of the service that people like, and there's something for everybody.
Talk about the streamlined booking process, including any
Sure.
like trip modification, cancellation policies. How do you
Yeah.
make it hassle-free for travelers?
Yeah, it's super easy. One of the nice things that people appreciate about us is you go online, give us a call, email, chat. You can reach us any way you'd like, and you book your ticket just like you would an airline. And so you're gonna pick your seat. You could pick a single seat. You could pick a seat on the double side. You'll get an email confirmation with all the details that you need. You can modify at any time. There's no modification charge to modify your trip, change it to a different day, a different time. If you cancel with more than 24 hours notice, it's a full refund to your credit card. So we just ask for 24 hours notice. If it's less than 24 hours notice, we're going to give you credit that you can use in the next 6 months. And that can be used by any traveler on any of our routes. And so it's not just credit for yourself. If you want to give it to somebody, you can give it to somebody. The only time a fare is forfeit is if if you no show, just don't even tell us you're not coming, because we do only have 22 seats. So one seat is a significant amount of revenue on a 22 seat trip. And or if you cancel with less than 2 hours, that's not refundable, because we can't recoup that, can't sell that fare, that seat. But otherwise, it's a very simple process. We're 24 hours a day to book or give us a call and work with us and get yourself going. And I'll go back one other thing you mentioned about just the hospitality aspect of the travel. One thing that we really pride ourselves on is the atmosphere within the cabin. And so we employ a library voice policy. You can use your cell phone, but it needs to be kind of a very appropriate level. The attendants enforce that very discreetly so as to not embarrass anyone. They will just come over to you and give you a little card with a chocolate on it that says, please be mindful of our library voice policy and the comfort of your fellow passengers. Just a little reminder for you to keep your voice down. Sound travels on a motor coach more than it does in an airline. We don't have the big engines outside drowning us out. And so we're very passionate about making sure that it's a great cabin for everybody, both leisure and business travelers, to enjoy.
How do you envision Vonlane's future growth and expansion, particularly in terms of new routes and potential markets across the United States?
Yeah, we have, obviously, you can imagine, we've scoured the map and have identified plans for growth. We had this specific Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta expansion ready to go. People hired, buses, motor coaches ready for the route in March of 2020.
Oh
And
gosh.
March, yeah, we were about a month away from launching. And so the pandemic hit. We put the expansion on hold. We've spent the last couple of years building back Texas to the same number of trips and departures that we were offering before the pandemic. And then we were ready to launch in November in Nashville, November of 22, like I said. And so we're a little behind where we would like to be, unfortunately, thanks to the pandemic, but we're catching up fast. And so we love the region, the Nashville, Memphis region. We see, Nashville to Louisville, for example. We can look at Atlanta to Charlotte, Memphis to Little Rock. There's lots of different options. We can bring Chattanooga into the mix, Knoxville into the mix. So we love the region. I think there's a great way for us to branch out from there, as well as there's other parts of the country, as you can imagine, that we're probably not sharing publicly yet, but we've got plans to enter soon.
That is so exciting from a consumer aspect. I told you even before we started recording of how many times I've driven from Memphis to Nashville. And recently we went to Gatlinburg for a trip, and I ended up driving the entire way with my family. And I thought about the amount of work that I could get done in that time frame, or the better use of time, and to be able to, we don't have the first class private jet that we can utilize whenever we want to. So to be able to have a service like Vonlane is so powerful for those leisure travelers, but also the business travelers, to have that time, because time is of the essence and we're not going to get any more time. But be able to utilize that time wisely by traveling through Vonlane, and then knowing that you're going to arrive to your destination at a high quality hotel that you can stay there, or you can walk to other places to enjoy. So just making it super easy is great. Alex, what puts a smile on your face when you look at the work that you've done to provide the world of luxury motor coach travel with Vonlane?
I really feel like we have a purpose here to provide what our purpose statement is to provide an exceptional travel experience. It's not to provide a bus trip. It's not to transport people. It's really to provide an experience. And we get that word back at us a lot. It was an amazing experience, they say. So that really makes us happy. And the thing that has been surprising has been that when I envisioned the company, started the company, I really thought it was going to be, almost all business travelers. And it's been amazing to see leisure travelers be such an important part of the service. They love it. They love that they can come aboard, watch Netflix, or balance the checkbook, pay some bills, plan a calendar, just rest and relax. So the leisure travelers love it. And then so that really makes me happy to see it. And one aspect of the leisure travelers that's very rewarding for all of us is the elderly traveling with us. They love the service because going to the airport and waiting for the wheelchair to come and get them, or trying to get to a gate that's far away, they're just not capable of doing it anymore. A lot of them can't drive the 200 to 300 miles anymore either. And so we get feedback from the elderly saying, you changed my life. I can go see my grandchildren whenever I want. I can help my son with his kids when he needs to go out of town. Whenever he needs me, I just jump on Vonlane and I'm there in his city to help him. That's been amazing. So we have 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds who travel with us all the time. And it's great to hear from them about how much they love the service. And it tells me that we've done what we set out to do. We've made travel easy and stress-free because they can do it and they enjoy it. So that's been great. And the Nashville Memphis route, there's a lot of families between those two cities. And so this is a great alternative for families to visit each other.
Quickly talk about the itinerary as far as how many times a week, Memphis
Yeah,
to
sure.
Nashville, Nashville to Atlanta.
Sure. So the core schedule for Nashville, Memphis is departing each city at 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. That's Monday through Friday. So you've got plenty of options there. It's great for the business traveler to do a day trip. Take the 6 a.m., get to Nashville at 9 a.m., have a meeting or two, have lunch. If you're done early, take the 2 p.m. back home. If you need to stay a little longer, take the 6 p.m. back home. Avoid the hotel stay. Atlanta, similar times, 10s, 12s, 4s, that type of time frame. So very easy to check the schedule at vonlane.com. Gives you the fare, gives you the schedule, seat map, etc. So super easy for people. And the schedules, we typically try and tailor them to what we're seeing the market need. And so you'll see it grow as the route develops and we have more travelers. We'll add more departures and more vehicles to it and give people a great product. In Texas, for example, between Dallas and Austin and Dallas and Houston, two very popular routes, there's a motor coach departing almost every hour starting at 6 a.m.
Where can people go to learn more, view routes, book their travel, and learn more about Vonlane?
Yeah, vonlane.com, vonlane.com. There's a page called Terminals where they can actually see the hotels that we partner with, where they're at, how you park at these terminals. Search schedule is there. Put in your dates, put in your route, see what offerings are given that day, what the fare is, what seats are available. Very, very simple. Great FAQ page for first timers, I would recommend. And then, as you mentioned, check out the pictures, the gallery, and the virtual tour. Really gives you a sense of what the vehicles are like. And all of our vehicles are the same. So what you're looking at, what you're going to get.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for not only creating this service, but offering it to our region, across Texas, Georgia, and more states to come. Thank you so much for coming on the City Current Show.
Thank you, Andrew.